Ray motherfucking Kenobi. Hello there. And welcome to episode 26 of the Holocron-Cast. As always, joined by the Sith Holocron, Dan. How you doing today, Dan?
I've gotten about 8 hours of sleep this whole week.
And you hurt your leg again.
And I hurt my leg. So, I'm doing amazing.
Did you not sleep last night?
I haven't slept a lot lately.
You need to take pills.
You notice how tired I am lately?
A little. And it's me, your boy, the Jedi Holocron, Tyler. I'm okay. You know.
We're not ready for that therapy session on film yet.
Never. But
no, that'll be a Patreon reward. Therapy session.
Right. But we're here today to bring the Holocron-Cast back.
Again.
We
did one episode bringing it back and then just stopped.
Yeah. It's hard to do this every week.
Also, I don't think we need to do it every week.
Yeah, but we found a great topic to discuss today.
I like it more when it's like this, when we find a topic that we're particularly passionate about.
Or so there's more going on in general. Summer's usually a dead time.
Or if we have, or eventually we will do like retrospective stuff and shit like that, but...
Yes. But until then, Daisy Ridley has spoken. Dan... I did not expect this last night. It was about...
I did not.
It was about 12, because it all happened on the Jimmy Kimmel show.
Is that where it happened?
Yeah,
I don't know any of the context.
Jimmy Kimmel, since pandemic has started happening, has just had guest hosts. And they had Josh Gad guest hosting, who's famous for working on the... He's Olaf in Frozen. He's a lot of things. He's not guest on. Who's
he in Star Wars?
No one. He's no one in Star Wars, but like he's Olaf in Frozen, and he's famous for that, but like... The thing in the Star Wars community he's famous for is pestering Daisy Ridley about spoilers for The Last Jedi while he was on set for Murder on the Orient Express with her. All those Twitter videos where they're like, "Hey Daisy," and I'm like, "What?" Even JJ popped up in one and is like asking questions, and it was funny. But he was hosting the show.
I think I remember that.
Yeah, I've showed you these. But he hosted the show, and Daisy Ridley was on there promoting, I don't know what, maybe the new game she's in, maybe something, but that game's not coming out this year, I don't think, but she was promoting something, obviously.
And, of course, Star Wars.
Star Wars came up. As Star Wars has been in the news a lot lately, John Boyega blasted Star Wars for being very problematic with how they treat their people of color, and good for him for that. But
there's definitely something to be said in that world.
Yeah, do better, Disney.
Yeah.
But...
Make Finn a Jedi, come on.
Right? You promoted him as a Jedi for fucking Force Awakens.
We said this before, I'll say it again. Episode 9 should have started with both Finn and Rey in training.
Yes, very much
That would have been metal as fuck.
Right. But... we're getting right into this, because this is the meat of the show.
This is the...
We're going to talk about... I'm just going to read her quote. Which... There's so much to dissect here. So fucking much to dissect here. She's like, at the beginning, they were toying with an Obi-Wan connection. Then there were different versions. Then it really went to it was no one, as in talking about her parentage, obviously.
Yes.
And then it came to episode 9, and JJ pitched me the film and was like, oh yeah, Palpatine is granddaddy, said Ridley. I like that. She's just like, Palpatine's granddaddy.
Granddad.
And then 2 weeks later, he was like, oh no, we're not sure. So it kept changing. So then, even as we were filming, I wasn't sure what the answer was going to be. And that
sounds very similar to fucking Return of the Jedi.
What did they not know how it was gonna?
No one, not a single soul knew which ending they were gonna play.
That's different, though.
But I'm just saying that's what it reminds me of.
See, that's different because they just shot a film and it ends one of two ways. This is like...
I'm not saying it's the same thing. I'm
consistential to like the plot of the movie.
I'm not saying it's the same thing. I'm just saying that's what it reminds me of.
Mm-hmm. That's
then a similar thing with the I'm your father moment as well. No one other than Hamill knew the like actual context. Because the original line was that Obi-Wan killed Anakin. for the I am your father scene
Yeah.
in Empire. The original line was Vader would say, Obi-Wan killed Anakin.
Oh, instead of I am your father?
Instead of I am your father. And I think Hamill was, like, the only person who knew.
So they did that on purpose. They, like,
yeah. To prevent leaks.
Yeah.
Because apparently Star Wars leaks were big back then.
And as in this movie, it just sounds like they didn't know what they wanted to do, and they didn't know who they wanted to piss off the least. So they're just like, maybe it shouldn't be this.
I mean, we already knew they didn't have a plan, to be fair.
Yes,
that's not surprising.
But it's still very not good.
We already knew by this point that they had no concept of what was going to happen.
It's just
100% concrete confirming.
We've had it
what we've already known.
We've had a lot of theories
since February.
Yeah, because there was those hot rumors about. Because this is the scene
about Kylo's helmet only being in the movie because they needed to reshoot.
Yeah, no, but the scene where she gets told she's a Palpatine? Mm-hmm. That's the scene most people think was reshot but she doesn't seem like she's reacting to that news.
Yeah.
So, because, like, there's those famous rumors of Adam Driver 3 weeks before the London premiere. 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Filming Kylo Ren lines in a closet in an apartment in Brooklyn or whatever. Or something like that. But that... As much as we knew that still pisses me off so much. That there was no plan.
I'm already over it.
Which is pretty obvious as to how they handled literally every character in this trilogy. But
I crested the anger hill back in, like, July. I'm over it by now.
I don't think I'll ever be over it.
Well, it's not necessarily... It's more of, like... It's not like It's just I've moved on.
Yeah. I've moved on, but, like, it just sucks because I care about these characters so fucking much.
No, I know, but
so
it's just...
fucking much.
It'll just eat away at you.
I don't think about it when I'm not talking about Star Wars.
Yeah.
Only when this stuff comes up, I'm actually thinking about it.
I'm just saying that because I think every podcast since, like, episode 18, we've had
it. It's hard not to talk about
segment of how much you dislike Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, we got to talk about it.
No, I'm just saying, I'm just addressing that to say,
The problem is, Dan, we keep getting more tidbits.
No, I know. I'm just saying, I get it. But eventually we will move on.
Yes, when there's something to talk about. But here's the thing, Dan. Here's the most important thing. Are we going to get the JJ cut?
No.
No?
Never.
Remember not too long ago there was a hot rumor that we might actually get the JJ cut?
Yeah, but I don't think so.
I think between the problem is this was supposed to end it all, right?
Yes. But that's why I don't think we're going to get it.
But also, like, with everyone from the cast speaking out, everybody being like, we filmed a different movie, everyone being like, I feel like there's enough people who... This one's more mixed than Rise of Skywalker. Well, no, I think they're both mixed. This one was less...
Rise of Skywalker?
I'm talking about The Last Jedi, but... I don't know. They're both very diversive, but, like, switched.
No, yeah, that's what it is. It's... The people who are really hardcore Last Jedi fans don't really like Rise of Skywalker, and vice versa.
Yeah.
That seems to be the general standing. And then The Force Awakens is kind of just there in the middle.
Yeah.
Like that meme image of the two girls fighting, and there's just a guy in the background, like, smoking. That's The Force Awakens.
Right.
That's a good one.
But yeah, Ray Kenobi. So, what are your thoughts on Ray Kenobi? Just as this was something we discussed. I don't know if we ever discussed it on podcast, but at least back when we were just hanging out, getting ready for The Force Awakens and Last Jedi.
I think potentially it was our second episode of the podcast where we just talked about Rise of Skywalker theories. Mm-hmm. Obviously, no replay value in that regard.
Yeah,
but I think we brought it up there. I could be wrong though.
Yeah,
that was a year ago. I don't remember, but my thing with Rey Kenobi is we would need a damn good story behind why Kenobi did that.
Well, yeah, of course. But I think that story is a lot more fascinating than the story they gave us about how Palpatine procreated. Or didn't procreate. I don't even know anymore.
No, that's what I'm saying. The Palpatine one would have been much better if he just normally procreated.
Right?
Because then we would have the whole story of who's the Sith grandmama.
Right. I personally love Rey Kenobi. Because, like, I personally think they can't do worse than they did. With just a lot of the things about her parentage and just the use of Palpatine in the film. Like, him being a clone, I don't even know how it works, honestly. I don't care anymore. I truly
He's
don't.
a clone, and his son is a failed clone.
And then she's... So is she really a Palpatine? Kind of.
She's, technically, if anything, she's more of Palpatine's daughter, not granddaughter. Because it was just his clone. It was a defective clone that didn't have Force powers.
Yeah.
So that was their way of having their cake and eating it, too.
Yeah. But I feel like everyone, Kenobi, Nobody, and Palpatine, all have a really interesting way of working well.
Yes. And they all also have a way of not working well.
I don't think Nobody has a way of not working well. There's not like that. Like, there's no downtrack side to her being Nobody.
Yeah, that's true. More of just the specific lineages. Yeah. So they all have a way of not being good, and they all have a way of being good.
Yeah, because I really like the idea of Kenobi.
Excuse me.
Because like that gives you an interesting look into, since we're getting the Kenobi show, like what was he doing during that time? Did he find another love after Sabine? Because we all know Satine. We all know how tragic Kenobi is.
Yeah,
and how you think Anakin's tragic. Kenobi's just as tragic. Not as probably as tragic, but he's up there.
The only difference is that Anakin's tragedy was his entire life, whereas Kenobi at least had a bit of life before the tragedy.
Right. I just want to see like who he found solace in with after
Aunt Beru.
No, I hope not.
That'd be the bad way of doing it.
Right. And then there would be cool things happen. Like, but the thing that I love the most is the idea of her turning a Kenobi finally coming back and fixing what he failed to do, which is keep Anakin from turning to the dark side.
Yeah.
That's Star Wars is all about poetry and rhyming and symmetry, and that's why I love Kenobi. You keep Rise of Skywalker exactly the same as it is now. Exact same film. Change nothing except that she's a Kenobi. It works a lot better.
Yes, if you changed nothing.
And then you could change it and still make it better based on those facts, too.
Yes.
So I just think that's a more interesting way to go. Because, like, we're probably going to briefly talk about the Palpatine stuff, but, like, we're not going to tell you all the theories how that works better. We've already talked about that to death, but obviously we'll bring up some stuff.
Well, yeah, we won't go super in depth, but yeah, there will be a little bit to bring up. I would make the argument point that I think if it was handled well, I would actually prefer Palpatine.
Why?
If it was handled better, because I like how it kind of keeps, what's the right, it keeps with their dyad connection very well, where it's the son of the light became dark, and the daughter of the dark became light, and then they inevitably kind of, they both kind of almost wanted to go together, and then they ultimately split apart again, and then they came back together at the very end. And then also, keeping with the poetry thing, it's very similar to where the prequels were a story of a Palpatine corrupting a Skywalker. Then the sequels would be the story of a Palpatine redeeming a Skywalker.
Yeah, that actually is interesting.
That's a point I've seen brought up a lot of times, is to show that kind of, like, rhyming poetry scheme.
Yeah.
Is that it's the inverse of the prequels.
Okay, I see that now, actually.
It's just it was handled poorly.
Yeah, I don't think it... Yeah. It was definitely handled poorly, but that I never took that from what they were trying to do. But the problem is we didn't know her lineage. We knew her lineage so late by then.
Yeah, that's honestly
the way, like,
my biggest problem with her lineage in general.
And also, like, the way she is a Palpatine is very unorthodox and very muddy. And
very half-step.
Yes.
They didn't want to just commit one way or another.
I still feel like the Palpatine thing goes back to them wanting to explain why she's powerful. But I feel like Kenobi does that too.
Depending on how... depending on what they do for the canon version of Kenobi's backstory, because I'm not actually certain of what his canon, like, pre-Episode 1 backstory is. Because I know in, I think there's an old Legends book, or maybe it's multiple books, his original story was, he's actually, Obi-Wan is actually incredibly not Force-sensitive. As in, they almost didn't even take him to be a Jedi. Because he was basically at the lowest possible, like, he was just Force-sensitive enough, but not quite, like...
there yet.
He wasn't, like...
He didn't have enough midichlorians?
He wasn't a Skywalker or a Yoda. He wasn't born with this insane threshold, and it was just... And he sucked throughout, like, his entire training until... I think it was until he got with Qui-Gon, and he really buckled down and trained and studied day in and day out for years, and that's why he became as good as he did.
I feel like that backstory with if you take Rey on top of that, it kind of works in a weird way, of her being like living 20 years and not knowing anything about it, and then just awakening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially depending on who her mother and like
yeah,
who like the breeding line was with them, and just be like, well, and that'd be funny if like her like this idea of like them not knowing or not being quite good, and then they just awaken and become very powerful.
Well, with Kenobi, it was a slow. It wasn't just like a snap.
But can you train how much power you have within the Force?
You can train in your skill, yeah.
You can train how you use it, but can you train how you become strong in it?
Yeah. There's actually an excerpt in the Rise of Kylo Ren comic. Luke is talking to one of his Padawans, and I don't remember the exact phrasing, but he basically says, Ben's not stronger than you. That's not the right way to look at it. The Force is like a door. Some people naturally have the door open, like Ben, but anyone can open the door.
I like that.
That was his phrasing in the Rise of Kylo Ren comic. He was talking to a Padawan of his. Mm-hmm. And I think that fits very well with that exact thing, where it's just... midichlorians are more of determining your starting point.
Yeah.
But anyone can be mega powerful if they train and get good.
Or if their door's just open.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. It actually kind of helps Rey.
I'm sure that
she couldn't find her door, but it was just open.
I'm sure that's part of the logic behind it.
I like that a lot, actually.
I don't remember. I probably butchered the phrasing, but it's very similar. It's very
yeah. That's why I love what they were going for in that Last Jedi, with how anybody could be it. Because it's very ingrained in Star Wars that you have to come from this famous lineage. Like, it's very kingly and kingdoms, and like
because it's
this great lineage of. Even though there were so many fucking Jedi in the world, we were so focused on this one family.
But all the Jedi we saw were so shitty.
Yeah.
That kind of goes with that point. Like, the prequel Jedi fucking sucked.
Not all of them.
Like, 99% of them.
But when there's so many Jedi, they're bound to suck.
Yeah, well, there are 10,000 Jedi Knights, and 9,950 of them sucked.
But then you have gods.
You have the 50 good ones.
Ahsoka. I want Ahsoka to be somebody's mom. That's just something I just blurted out for fun. Do you think she's ever gonna...
Just to be someone's mom? Just anyone?
Yeah. Do you
think she settled down?
No, but I want her lineage to carry on.
The Tano lineage?
The Tano. I don't know how they do that, but...
I mean, it's a big-ass galaxy. I'm sure there's someone out there who should want a pork.
No, yeah, Lux, baby.
Isn't he...
Well, she wanted to, so obviously... obviously there's people... No, but like... Or that'd be cool if like her lineage carries on through Baby Yoda.
We'll have to see in Mando Season 2.
Or 3.
But,
or 4. But yeah.
I was looking at,
Yeah, shout out the Reddit where you founding some of these people's discussions.
Yeah, the
only good.
No, there are other... There have been some that have cropped up over time. This is just the one that I peruse normally on Reddit. Star Wars Cantina.
They don't ban you for liking the sequels.
Like the main Reddit does. You can look into that if you want to see that whole shit show.
Shit show, yeah.
That, but it was post by user Peter W16, he was just posting about the whole Rey thing.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the discussion points brought up are very interesting.
Yeah, give me a good one that we haven't talked about
A
yet.
lot of these are arguing against Rey Kenobi.
Okay.
And I don't say I fully agree with like these. However, I do think it's interesting to explore the antithesis.
Are they arguing it against it for another, or just against it in general?
There's a variety.
Okay.
There's a lot of comments.
Yeah.
Let's see.
What's one of the ones you liked a lot? Or one that you not even you like, just you find interesting.
Well, here's just one that I know you agree with. _ASG_ said, I don't see why she needed to be a famous descendant at all.
Yeah. A lot of the Last Jedi people still stand by that.
Trying to find one that's...
I think if they would have focused in on the Kenobi thing from the beginning, they could have done something really cool with it.
Yeah, I think the problem is that they didn't focus.
Yeah.
You can't really... It's kind of like a...
It's hard not to love any Rey parents theory with how we got it.
Yeah.
We literally got, the worst version we possibly could have gotten. There's so many versions where everything's, her lineage is still Palpatine that are so much better than this one.
Oh, absolutely.
Just executed miles on thing.
So I like this part of, commented by ForceWave-1139. What, were you about to say something?
No,
okay.
I was, but you can continue, yeah.
The argument of Rey being a Kenobi, this makes Rey's story more impersonal. She's not deciding her own destiny, she's just filling in the shoes of her grandfather. Rey's arc is about deciding who you are for yourself, bloodline be damned. Rey Kenobi is as much of a bad behind-the-scenes idea as making Han Solo look like Swamp Thing.
I actually kind of agree with that.
And it was, the beginning of this post was, whether it's Rey Nobody or Rey Palpatine Skywalker, the whole point is, the belonging you seek is not behind you, it is ahead. Giving her a positive lineage, like a biological Rey Skywalker or Rey Kenobi, would have rendered that meaningless, because her belonging was behind her the whole time.
I agree with that, actually. Because that's the reason... I'm going to make a separate video about this and deep dive into it. But part of the reason I love Rey so much is I'd really relate to that journey of finding your place in the world.
Yeah.
And, I really relate to that. And, I love... The idea of her being Kenobi kind of does diminish that in a weird way. She's no longer looking for... I agree with him. I like that.
Which, that's why I've seen a lot of people arguing that that's the distinction that makes Rey Palpatine specifically better than Rey Kenobi. Because it's still sticking to the theme of finding your own place.
And not... Okay, I can get behind that, actually. I said, if they would have done it better.
Well, yes, we're talking in an idyllic world here, okay?
God damn it, JJ Kathleen. Honestly, I'm getting off JJ Kathleen, Bob Iger, come on now. Come on.
Yeah, and maybe even if we get the JJ cut, maybe it'll be...
I want it so bad.
I want it so bad.
That would be my Snyder cut, brah. I need it. I just want to see them again. Those characters. Because I'm worried I'm never going to see them again.
Who? I'm sorry? I was reading.
I just want to see those characters again. I'm just worried I'm never going to see them again.
Yeah.
Why have we not gotten any toys or anything with Rey's yellow lightsaber yet? Why?
That is bizarre.
No toys, no lightsaber. Come on. No Funko Pop. Sorry.
Stop making background sounds.
We haven't got a Rey Funko Pop with a lightsaber yet.
Really?
Yeah, with the yellow lightsaber.
Didn't?
Not with the yellow.
That's bizarre.
Unless I missed it. I've kind of been zoned out on those for a while now.
I just assumed that it already happened and you already had it, because your Rey Funko Pop shrine is huge and I can't keep track of it.
Honestly, we might... Yeah, I want to show you something real quick. You can throw this in the video. I found these on Sideshow Collectibles.
Hopefully I remember.
Yeah, remember what time we're at. But, look, it's like Rey, but as an anime character.
It looks like,
It's a statue by... I forgot what the company's called, but
It looks like... Oh, what's that thing called? Forces of Destiny or whatever?
Yeah,
the Star Wars kid anime?
Yeah.
It kind of looks like that.
It's by Katubuyuki whatever or whatever. But look at the Kylo one. I might actually buy the Kylo one because it looks so cool.
Okay, yeah, you'll definitely.
It's so edgy.
Oh, it's so edgy.
That's fucking rad as hell. Like just how the cape looks. And it looks like they look like they're Persona characters almost. So I love it.
You want to open up a notepad real quick so I can mark down the timestamp?
Yeah.
So we're talking about it enough that I
we need to show the people. Yeah.
If you're just listening to this audio-wise, I'm sorry. Just put 24.
But yeah,
I don't know what it means.
But yeah, it's weird. Like,
I'm reading through some posts, so sorry if I'm not like.
I don't know. Like they are so quickly to distance themselves. Maybe because they knew all this backlash was going to come, and all this all the secrets would have got out.
Maybe they shouldn't have pussyfooted it then.
Yeah,
they should have just committed.
They should have never hyped it up as like the end of the Skywalker saga.
Even though we knew this, I kind of agree with this from a user on Reddit, Holocron-Cast. I don't know how to pronounce it. Sorry. They said, I think the biggest news from this is that we've confirmed that they still weren't 100% sure on Palpatine during filming.
Right?
And the immediate comment under it by Baby Yoda X. Yeah, what the fuck? I got a headache.
Yeah, man. I still would.
Oh, here's the comment I wanted to. Here's a comment that I read that I actually like from user Persistent Inquiry. That just goes to further underline that the idea that JJ hated Ryan and The Last Jedi is false. If he really did hate Ryan, he would have undid his choice without hesitation, and actually undid it by revealing that Rey is Luke's daughter or something. That would have been a direct attack at the core of The Last Jedi. The biggest news here is that we now know for a fact that JJ never even considered anything for Rise of Skywalker but nobody and Palpatine. I think it's interesting I think that thought process is interesting.
Yeah, but a lot of people do it for some reason, believe, even though they've always been very cordial and been like, yeah, we like each other's movies as between JJ and Ryan, is they think
they hated each other.
JJ hated The Last Jedi, which I don't think is true. He did say he wanted to direct it after he saw the script, but that might be just, but obviously PR press, like, you're not going to be like, I didn't like it. You're never going to come out and say, but like, I don't get why everyone thinks they had this like intense.
I don't think there's enough proof to say. Because I'm still of the opinion that a lot of the things that kind of go back from Last Jedi are obviously, yes, partially due to him, but also due to everything else as well.
As the backlash and stuff, you mean? Like, yeah.
I think the biggest reason why this movie turned out the way it did is backlash, and they got scared because they're fucking cowards.
Do you think that by now they notice like what DC is doing and be like, we need to stop worrying what the executives are saying. Like, just make movies that people like, and like let artists be creative and just.
Yeah, but that's the problem though. Is just the sheer amount of hate that Last Jedi had.
That's why I'm excited for a Star Wars future post Skywalker saga.
Right,
where they're not so tied to everything and there's no expectations.
I've said this probably 10 times on the podcast, but the biggest problem with the sequels is that they're part of the Skywalker saga.
Yeah,
shouldn't have been part of the Skywalker saga.
Really shouldn't have.
Skywalker Saga should be 1 through 6, and then this is its own thing. You can still call it 7, 8, 9. Because they're sequels. It's the lineage of the Skywalker Saga, if you even want to just call it that. Mm-hmm. It shouldn't have been part of it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Keep the people entertained. I'm reading some more comments to see if there's any other like really good ones.
But yeah, Kenobi. I feel like I wouldn't have hated Kenobi, but like, I feel like there's perks to it, but also with some of these comments we've been reading, there are some downsides that I didn't really think about. But
just further showing that they probably should have just stuck to Rey Nobody. But yeah,
either way, these stories and this stuff will haunt me probably forever.
You say that as if it like destroyed your childhood.
It didn't.
That's a quote.
I got 6 likes on that on Twitter. I replied to someone. I replied to someone talking about like how we could have like Kenobi turning the Skywalker back, and I'm like, this will haunt me forever. Oh God, it really will. This movie will really. God, like I wouldn't be so offended if I didn't, like I said, like if I didn't I'm not offended actually, but like it wouldn't bother me so much if I didn't love the first 2 movies so freaking much.
Yeah.
So much.
Here's an interesting, it's kind of a similar perspective, but I kind of like how it's phrased by, Joji _ Princess N. If they would have, talking about if they would have made it Rey Kenobi, how would this have made an impact on Rey? We all love Obi-Wan, but him being Rey's grandfather would add nothing to the story or to her development as a person. Both the nobody and Palpatine route challenged her and made her choose her own path, just as Vader made Luke confront the possible future on the Jedi path. And it adds to the series' theme where a hero can come from anywhere, even pure evil. So while it was messy, I prefer what we got. I disagree with I prefer what we got, because...
No, yeah.
However,
I'd rather have a not messy Kenobi line than the messy-ass one we got.
Yes. However...
I'd see...
If they were idyllic, if we're looking at an ideal Kenobi and an ideal Palpatine, I would take Palpatine every day.
Yeah.
For Rey's
I'm
lineage.
actually starting to lean more towards Palpatine, which is surprising, considering our discussion in the car.
But obviously, the highest priority would be Rey No One, because that was what it was in Last Jedi.
I just hope they learn from this that we need to have a plan, brah. We need to have a plan.
Or even that's not even to say that you need like a
concrete plan, but just an outline of where the general story arc's going to go.
And at least so it isn't like so clearly said in Last Jedi that Rey is a nobody, and then
go back on it.
I know there is. You can
obviously the source is not trustworthy at the time.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of arguments. However, the whole I guess the defense would be the argument with Last Jedi is that your lineage doesn't matter and you can be a hero regardless. And Rise of Skywalker is, you could say, kind of almost doubling down to saying like your lineage really doesn't matter, even if it's just evil.
Yeah.
But again, it's just it was executed poorly.
Yeah, like why did Luke and Leia know? Like why? Just why? Why?
I can't remember the exact post. I did see an interesting post a while ago, actually, because I remember we've talked before about...
Yeah, we've talked before. We do podcasts together.
We've talked before on the podcast about the end with her saying Rey Skywalker.
Honestly, those comments help me appreciate that a little more.
I saw a post that made me think a little bit more, actually, and how, like, oh, fuck, I can't remember how it was worded.
Just give me the general idea.
No, I mean, like, I'm trying to remember, like, I want to phrase it correctly, so I don't butcher it. You keep talking and I'll think. So
today they announced the Xbox Series X is going to be...
No, I mean,
I'm talking.
Topic.
Oh.
Fuck ass.
But yeah.
I can't remember the...
About Luke and them knowing?
No, it was just about the whole, like, Rey Skywalker being her, like, title or name. And while I still think that it's definitely... Like, in the movies, it's brought up too much. People asking her what her last name is.
What's your last name? I'm like, what does it matter?
It didn't need to be said in Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, I forgot what I saw, but...
in Force Awakens, when they ask her what her last name is, I get it.
Yeah.
But it's kind of beating it over your head in Rise of Skywalker. They're like, oh, what's your family name? Okay, let's...
There's this weird theory about that scene at the end, where the old lady in the camel's asking him what her name is. A theory that lady is Luke's female friend who's like in one deleted scene of A New Hope from Tatooine. There's a deleted scene in New Hope of this girl. Oh, when he goes and
finds Biggs?
Yeah, of this girl who's his friend on Tatooine. And I'm like, they're like, what if that's her? I'm like, I hope so.
That's funny.
Because that's hilarious.
That's funny. I mean, she had a very boring life.
Right?
But basically it was saying like, maybe I'll remember it eventually. I lost my train of thought.
Yeah.
But yeah. So what else about the whole Rey discussion?
I don't know. I feel like we've covered it well, but like I said, in this movie as it is, I think it works better. But as it is. But like I said, if we could do a Kenobi, like a movie's purely going down that direction, even the whole trilogy going down that direction, they'd both be very interesting. I don't have a problem with either of them, but at the end of the day, with the movies we got, they should have stuck with nobody.
I think really no matter what, they should have just stuck with nobody.
Yeah. But like I said, like I don't mind the Palpatine thing, but the problem with the Palpatine thing is the way they brought him back, the way how you don't even think about him the first 2 movies.
Oh, don't worry, you have your Rey video. I'm making a Palpatine video.
I'm interested in that.
I'm making a whole Palpatine video
about how he mishandled. Is that more negative or positive, or just like a?
Well, the first, I haven't like planned it out or anything, but the idea I have in my head is like the first half will be describing why he's my favorite Star Wars character, what I love about him and whatnot, and then I'll be diving into the things I don't like
about how they brought him back,
which isn't even just in sequel related stuff. There's other stuff I don't like about him that I wish was handled better.
Yeah, that kind of sounds like my Rey video, but it's like super.
So we will both have our own personal...
Very personal video for me.
Mine's less personal, more... I don't want to say encyclopedic, but...
More just like, why you... Yeah. But the reasons I love Rey are very personal.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I'm just making sure I didn't miss any really good comments.
But, yeah. I'm glad the cast is just talking about this shit. Honestly. Maybe it means they'll be better in the future. And, like... realize like this is not a good idea how to run a franchise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm just glad to see Daisy Ridley doing stuff, you know. She's gonna be in a video game.
Yeah, you said that.
It's not even like a normal like big. It's an indie game too, which is funny because they got her, James McAvoy, who's like a big time actor, and like Willem Dafoe. I'm like, shit, this is a big cast. I'm buying the shit out of this game.
Yeah, I think I got all the comments that
you got any final thoughts on
the
Ray Kenobi
news? Not necessarily related to Ray Kenobi, but
just Ray and the lineage in general.
Make the JJ cut happen.
Yeah,
I really don't think it'll ever happen. But Disney, come on, please.
Yeah,
please.
Anything could happen.
Honestly. I just want to see an extended cut so it isn't so fast.
Right, I want to see, the extended cut at least.
We should have really realized something was up when that movie wasn't like 4 hours long.
You knew something was up when you were watching that movie and you're like, I'm not feeling anything.
No, I just mean when the runtime was announced, that was when we should have realized something's up.
I don't know if we really talked about this, but like, do you remember what you were thinking when you were watching that movie for the first time?
No, because when the first time I watch a Star Wars movie is always a weirdly like... For me, it's almost an out-of-body experience a lot of the time, where like I almost feel like I'm not even there the first time I watch a Star Wars movie.
And just like...
I'm so absorbed. Like, I was able to pick up on everything. I don't... It's almost as if I wasn't feeling...
I just remember...
But I remember for like every Star Wars movie, it's like the first time I watch it, I feel like I don't feel anything because I'm so absorbed.
I get that. I remember after The Last Jedi, you're like, I need to think about this.
Yeah, The Last Jedi, when we were on the way back, I remember I was in like a coma.
I remember absolutely loving it, though.
Yeah, because we went to go and see it with our friends, and you and Derek were talking about it, and I was just in the passenger seat, just like in a coma, because I was processing. Right. That's the thing, with like Star Wars movies, I focus on them so much, it takes me like 12 hours to fully render my thoughts.
Like the more, like, there's a moment, like, obviously there's moments in The Rise of Skywalker where I very much enjoy.
Yeah.
And I remember the first...
Any scene with Ben Solo?
You're right. Bring my boy back.
And the Ben and Han scene is one of the best scenes of this saga.
And I just remember there's so being like cool moments, but like so many weird ones. The thing I remember the most is just being so overwhelmed by how fast it was moving. You never had time to sit on anything, or like it just felt like we were running 100 miles an hour. I'm like, I don't know how am I supposed to have time to feel for anything that's happening?
I remember,
especially with all the fake out deaths that started to line up. I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah, fake out deaths. The only one that I'm okay with is the Chewie one because it actually progressed character development.
I honestly like that moment just because the way Rey screams in shock.
That's what I mean, though. It furthers her character, too.
I love that moment. But, like, everything, yeah.
But other than that, all the other fake out deaths, get the fuck out of here.
See, I don't even like that fake. I don't even like faking out Chewie death. I just like her having that moment of, like, fuck, I might have just killed someone I love.
But that's why I like it.
But I don't feel like it works well with Chewie. Because, like, you ain't gonna kill Chewie like that.
I had, like, a split second where I thought they were.
Yeah.
Just because it was the finale of the saga, I thought it was possible.
But I feel like it's a very unceremonious way to kill Chewie.
Yeah, but do you know how they killed him in Legends? Also very...
A moon.
Yeah.
I never forget the moon. Well, yeah.
Fuck, what was I gonna say? I remember watching it, and one of the only things going through my brain at the time was, why are we on a fetch quest?
Like the little MacGuffin and
the dagger MacGuffin.
Yeah, that is weird. But I remember one thing too is like I'm like everything was happening so fast. Like I love the moment where all the Jedi talk to Rey, but I'm like, is she dead? She can't be dead. Am I supposed to cry right now? I feel like I want to cry if she's dead. But like, what is happening? And then Ben gets thrown down. And you're like, what? That can't be it. And you knew it wasn't because how that movie had gone up to that point.
And also, I was just mad that there wasn't a fight.
Right.
I want to cut. I know it doesn't exist, but I want a cut of that film where Palpatine pulls out 2 lightsabers and Ben and Rey have to duel them together.
That
would have been fucking sick.
Or see, I will never not stand by this theory. Or him summoning like a dark Rey if she was the clone theory and just had a clone of Rey.
Yeah.
That the bad one that fucked up, or the good one for him, but like the one that he got right. Yeah. And it was just like, I'm like, oh, that'd be so perfect.
That would have been cool. And I also just thematically, I like the idea of Palpatine getting up and pulling out lightsabers, being like, no, I'm not making the same mistake this time.
Right. I honestly like that idea.
I'm just going to go all out against you.
I like the idea of them both being bad at the end of the movie, too.
Yeah.
Just them sitting on his throne and be like,
but that was already kind of...
Not going to happen.
Not going to happen after Last Jedi.
Yeah.
I feel like if they were going to make them both be not good, it would have been in The Last Jedi when Ben... Honestly, my ideal version of the sequels is she accepts his offer and they both just stay, like, neutral.
Yeah.
And just fuck everything up.
Right. There's so many cool things. That's why I always want more stories with these characters forever, but we're not going to get them.
I still want Finn Jedi.
I will truly be upset for the rest of my life if we never get another movie with Finn and Rey being Jedi and maybe Ben coming back.
Being master and apprentice.
Just like anything. Like, because there are rumors that they are looking into exploring Ben Solo some more. But I think it's like pre-Force Awakens.
It's pre.
But like...
But I'm just saying.
And it'll probably be animated because I don't want a kid playing Adam Driver. Like, there's very few, like... I don't like the idea of recasting certain people, especially in Star Wars. Like, if you were to recast Leia, go fuck yourself. Like, I get casting, like, them, like, Luke and Leia as kids are just different, like, in the Kenobi show. But, like, the only person I would accept, like, there's very few people I would accept the roles of, like, younger Luke and younger Leia, like, a few years before.
Yeah.
If anybody.
It's different for the Kenobi show because it's significantly farther before.
And maybe there's like a few acceptable answers for like them a few years before we see them the first time since they're so old now. Yeah. But like there's only like 1 or 2 actors who I think could play them both.
Yeah, it's a real it's kind of a real tricky territory. And no
kid can come close to acting like Adam Driver as Ben Solo, so I don't want that.
They really lucked out with casting Ewan for young Obi-Wan.
They're really good at casting. Yeah. They nailed the sequel cast.
Yeah.
And then they fucking...
But also mean talking about characters who already existed and then casting them for younger. They really lucked out with Ewan for Obi-Wan.
Right.
Got the perfect choice.
Right. He's so good. I feel bad though because they had the greatest cast. Like they were all so excited to be in Star Wars. And now they all fucking hate it.
Yeah.
Even Oscar Isaac, who's like, you gotta let me be in this trilogy, he's like, yeah, I don't give a fuck if I ever do this shit again.
And I can't blame them.
Can't blame any of them.
After the fandom.
Right.
And their decisions. And then the fandom and then Disney caving to the fandom menace.
So bad. But
Disney, also, if you're listening, when you convince everyone to come back and you go set after episode 9, make the first scene Finn training with Rey. That'd be really cool.
Please don't and he can't yell Rey. Only once for
he can yell it
nostalgic
once throughout
in the
that
3
whole
movies.
yeah.
Only once.
He can yell it in the final battle.
Yes, that's it.
He can yell it during the climax.
Right. I don't know.
She's fighting the new bad guy, and Finn gets cut off from her. That's the one time he gets to scream Rey
when her
for nostalgia.
When her arm gets cut off.
Yeah, he really does get relegated to just yelling Rey.
Yeah. But enough on Rey Kenobi and Rey in the sequels. There'll be a lot of that on our channel going forward.
As there has been.
As there, like we said, 2 videos with each of us in it by ourselves talking about some of our favorite characters. But until then, one last word for you, Disney. We're going to keep talking about Mandalorian and stuff after this, but like, Disney, I have one last thing to say. Give me yellow lightsaber merch for fuck's sake. Give it to me. Where's all this Rey merch? We need it. Okay. We can talk about the Mandalorian.
Tone shift.
We can talk about the Mandalorian. We're going to talk about some of the stuff that's in development.
For a wee bit.
The main thing I want to talk about is the Hayden being in the Obi-Wan show, because I feel like you have more to say about that than any of the other stuff I'm going to say. But sad news. We'll talk about this. I just want to bring it up. Lego Skywalker saga got delayed till 2021. R.I.P.
It's not dead.
That was supposed to come out this year, but not much to say about that. Just if you didn't know that happened. Sad times.
Usually, I'm pretty okay with games getting pushed back once or twice.
Yeah. And with Squadrons coming out, it's not like we needed it.
Give it more time in the oven, you know?
Yeah.
I'd rather that than it come out and being a broken piece of shit.
Apparently it plays different than most LEGO games do, too, which I'm interested in.
I mean, LEGO Force Awakens played really different.
So I'm excited, though.
Mostly because there weren't that many lightsabers, so they had to do a lot of better stuff for the blasters. Let's be real. Other than bounty hunters who had jetpacks, whoever played as the non-lightsaber characters in LEGO Star Wars?
Loki, dude.
Except for LEGO Star Wars The Clone Wars, because they all had abilities.
With their blaster?
Like you could throw, EMP grenades and shit as the clones. That, and I'm just biased because I want to play as clones.
We will have more lightsaber fights in 3 seasons of Mandalorian, I bet, than we do in 3 movies of the Skywalker, of the sequels.
Mostly because there's what?
At least more than 1 confirmed for this season. That was a quote from a while ago, but Giancarlo's fighting someone with that darksaber.
Oh, she'll get the darksaber?
Huh?
You said she's fighting someone with the darksaber?
No, I said Giancarlo's fighting someone with that darksaber. That's Gideon.
Giancarlo
Esposito. Yeah.
I misheard you.
He's fighting someone with that thing.
Oh, absolutely.
And someone might get it from him, and someone's fighting someone with that thing. You fighting back. I don't know. But yeah.
Well, we all know the fight is going to be Ahsoka versus him.
Yeah.
Lightsaber v. lightsaber. The white versus the dark saber.
Yeah, that's true.
I want more white sabers.
Like Ahsoka's in Rebels?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are cool.
Those are the sabers she'll have, I assume.
Yeah, probably.
You looked at me like I was crazy.
No, I'm just...
I like the purified. I like the backstory behind those sabers.
Yeah.
Purified bleeding crystals.
Mainly because we know what happened to her other lightsabers after Mandalore now.
Yeah.
I like the 2 blue ones. Did you see, though? Oh, shit. I saw this on Instagram the other day. Because I follow the Ahsoka voice actors on there. There's 2 new Ahsoka Clone Wars lightsabers.
Blue ones?
At Galaxy's Edge. They go blue or they can go green.
Green and yellow?
I don't know if one goes yellow, but they at least can change to blue and green.
Okay.
That's cool.
I hope the small one can turn yellow instead of green.
I hope so, but...
that's the correct color.
Yes, I know.
I'm very anal about that. But that is cool. That's really rad.
Cool. Because I still need to get her Fulcrum ones.
Yeah.
I won't be spending a lot of money when we go there in
they're... Aren't they the same, style?
No, the hilts are completely different.
Are they?
Yeah.
I've only ever seen Padawans, up close.
Yeah, her other ones are
I've never seen, the Fulcrum ones are kind of
they're
a little...
They're thin.
I really like how she activates them in
they're,
Rebels when she puts them together and then separates them.
Yeah, her Clone Wars ones are more round. The other ones are more rectangle-y, but with curves and shit. And it's
yeah, I could point out Padawan Ahsoka's lightsabers if I saw them. I don't know if I could point out Fulcrums if they weren't together.
Right.
Obviously, if they're 2 right next to each other, you only got a couple options of who you can pick there. You got Asajj and Ahsoka.
Yeah.
And that's about it for dual wielders.
Right. But yeah.
Unless you count episode 2 Anakin. For 3 seconds.
Mandalorian got a release date, Dan.
Still no trailer, though.
Still no trailer. So we're not going to talk about Mandalorian too much, but we got a date, which is cool.
Yeah.
Obviously, once the trailer drops, we're going to do fucking a whole episode just on that trailer. But Yeah. We learned that Favreau is directing that first episode, which is cool, but he didn't direct any of the episodes first season.
That's weird to me.
Yeah. Have you seen any of the pictures that they released yesterday?
I saw, like, 1 or 2 floating around on Reddit.
Greef looked bigger to me. He just looked like a bigger dude. And his beard was white, and it looked weird.
Yeah, he changed the most.
He looked like he changed the most. Yeah, I'm like...
I wonder if...
It was probably a time gap, but...
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I wonder how big the time gap is. Because he looks like he aged a lot.
Yeah,
with the white beard.
Yeah, he looks like he actually aged.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. So, yeah.
I mean, he's an older guy, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
But here, Dan, we'll talk about Hayden Christensen. Gonna be in the Obi-Wan show, which is interesting.
Confirmed.
Because Obi-Wan takes place after he's Vader.
Yes.
And we've got confirmed on... It's not like confirmed by Star Wars, but like we got some good sources that he will be in his clone armor.
Which is rad.
Which is sexy as fuck.
It'll look like the cover of that Thrawn book.
Yes.
How he's like drawn to look like Hayden, but in the armor.
So, are you excited about that?
Oh, absolutely.
It's nice to have Hayden come back.
I'm so glad that they're getting Hayden back.
Right.
I feel like the fandom really did him not quite as dirty as some other people, but he got done dirty by the fandom.
But we've come back around on him for sure.
That's what I'm saying, that he wasn't done quite as dirty, because we've come back around.
Yeah. So
he did the best that he could with what he had.
Obviously, we're going to get flashbacks, right?
Oh, well, yeah.
So do you think we're going to get Ahsoka in these flashbacks too? Which would be cool to have live-action Ahsoka interacting with Anakin and Obi-Wan?
Maybe?
She'll be a little younger, though, so that might have a... Well, obviously, different actress would have to play her. But,
yeah, well, yeah.
Dude, Ashley could play her in that one because Ashley's very short.
Well, it would be, like, kid Ahsoka, though. Because if it's armor Anakin and Obi-Wan, that means it's early Clone Wars.
But do you think we're going to be getting flashbacks of, like...
Because...
them fighting together in the Clone Wars?
I hope so.
Which would be cool as hell.
Because I think it's about at the midpoint, chronologically, of the Clone Wars that they got rid of the armor and switched to their, like... where they had their kind of Episode 3 outfits, but they had, like, the bracers still, so they weren't quite Episode 3 until Siege of Mandalore. So, if it's all clone armor, then it's all early Clone Wars.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting.
What do you...
They could do so much with flashback there.
Do you think it will be... Because... that leads me to
honestly, you know what?
That leads me to believe that Vader might be the villain of that show.
Maybe. But I find it weird because a plot of a lot of the Vader comics is that he doesn't know where Kenobi is.
Yeah.
That's the plot of, like...
maybe...
several Vader comics.
Maybe, like, Kenobi's tracking him.
Ah.
And, like, he doesn't know it.
But I feel like in order to keep continuity, they would never meet.
Yeah.
You'd have a Grievous and Anakin situation, like in the Clone Wars. Where they canonically never met, so they can't meet.
Because I don't see Maul being in that show, because that would go back on Rebels stuff, and we just don't need it, honestly.
We don't need it, and we know for a fact, because of Rebels, that Maul... I mean, his entire purpose of living in Rebels is finding Kenobi, so he can't go to Tatooine.
Do you think...
even though I feel like that's a very logical guess.
Yeah.
Just looking at it from, like, a meta perspective, I feel like if I was in Maul's shoes, I'd be like, he probably went back to Tatooine. That's where I'd hide.
What is... you're the Clone Wars expert between the two of us.
Yes.
Is there anything from the Clone Wars that happens that we really don't cover in the Clone Wars that we could get flashback to, or anything significant that you think is, like, they would show?
See, set between 2 and 3, I'm not 100% sure, just because the Clone Wars show exists. It would be cool. I know it would be a lot harder, but what I would actually like a lot as well would be if we also got flashbacks between 1 and 2.
That would be cool. Because
those are flashbacks that I would be more interested in, because I feel like...
we don't see that time, really.
Yeah, we very seldom see that. To be fair,
it takes him like 15 years to go to Coruscant finally, right? But it's been like 15 years since he'd seen Padme?
No, it's like It's
10.
10. No, it's like 8.
But still, it's been a while since they've been to...
I think it's like 8 years. But also, he had been on Coruscant all that time.
He just had not seen Padme?
He was in the temple the whole time.
Ah.
You're not really...
It's weird because they really don't...
You're not really permitted to leave the temple that much when you're a Padawan. It's really not until you're a knight, or obviously during the Clone Wars they made exceptions, but I believe traditionally it was more of like you kind of... Unless you were with your master, you didn't really leave the temple.
Yeah.
Especially, I'm sure Anakin probably had extra restrictions, considering that he never follows any rules.
Right.
So that, I assume, would be the logic, because he was absolutely training in the temple.
Yeah.
We've seen, actually, in the Obi-Wan Anakin comic that I read, we see flashbacks of him during the temple training.
Remember when we read that? We were like, let's talk about it. We never did. I don't even remember it.
I really like there is a cool part where Anakin hacks the training droid and turns it into Darth Maul.
Oh, yeah.
And Obi-Wan has to come and just cut it in half. Yeah. But anything, like, significant? I'm trying to...
Or you think there's, like, a specific scene that they might show?
I could maybe see something like that. It all depends. Like, really, they could do pretty much anything? Because I'll be happy just to see it in general.
Right. Okay, now I have a question for you then. Ready? Hayden. His acting. Do you think he's going to, like, act how he did in the prequels? Or do you think he'll have better direction or act different? And if he does, will it still feel like Anakin? Or will it be like an in-between of him and
I think it'll be an in-between.
Of him and the Clone Wars Anakin?
I think it'll be an in-between. Because truthfully, by the time Revenge of the Sith...
But to be fair, he won't have any Padme love scenes. Do you know what would be really cool if they got Natalie Portman back for like one flashback and they were just all together? That'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
I want that to happen.
That'd be cool.
And Ahsoka's there.
Excuse me. I think it'll be somewhere in the middle, because also, looking at it canonically, by the time Revenge of the Sith comes around, the reason why Anakin is as flat as he is that he's basically dead inside at that point.
Yeah. That's true.
Ahsoka's gone. He can't trust anyone. He's basically dead inside by then. So if we get flashbacks to early Clone Wars, that's when he still has some life in him.
I feel like he'll be trying to being like not. I think it will feel like Anakin, but like he won't be as
that, and just the fact that it's Hayden, it'll automatically feel like Anakin because we'll make the connection of he played Anakin.
Be like, but he doesn't sound like that pilot from that one episode of The Mandalorian.
Oh no. Shit!
If you understand, you understand.
Okay.
No, he wasn't even a pilot. He was like a
he was
security
a pilot.
guard. Yeah, or whatever.
He was piloting the ship.
Yeah,
I think he was the only person on the ship, so I have to assume he was piloting it.
I'm very excited for the Kenobi show. I think they are actually close to start filming soon.
Yeah. What I'm really interested in is who the villain is.
I still think it's gonna be Vader. That's what people have been saying the most.
I think it
or
will
he'll be in it in some way.
Yeah, I think he'll be in it, but I'm not sure about him being the main villain. Because they can't meet.
So it would be cool if it was like Vader and Anakin, like him, like confronting himself in his head, but it shows them like two separate beings talking to each other.
Maybe
that kind of thing. That'd be cool.
I could see that. Because, like, the whole
thing...
But
that would mean Vader is in the show, though.
The whole thing, canonically, is that they hadn't seen each other since Mustafar when they met on the Death Star.
Is that canon?
It's...
Or is it implied canon from the movies?
It's super heavily implied, and basically through the Vader comics, pretty much almost canonized, considering that Vader never finds him. And that Vader's goal, and pretty much any time we see him, set between 3 and 4, is him being like, where's Kenobi?
Yeah, it could be interesting if if it's Vader struggling to be like to go after him. Like,
because I've been rewatching Rebels again, and I was watching the episode where Vader was in it, and when he realizes Ahsoka is alive, he contacts Palpatine, and like the first thing Vader thinks of is maybe she can lead us to Kenobi.
Yeah.
So he's kind of like Maul, where he's always looking for Kenobi but never finds him. Because I feel like if he found Obi-Wan would not be alive.
Or it could be like that whole thing, like deep down he knew where he was, but
he was scared.
Didn't want to find him.
But again, that goes back to the same thing of like going back
to the Ahsoka thing, where it's like she knew he was Anakin, but he didn't want to commit it to herself or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm interested.
When we can get a trailer for that?
Well, let's focus on a Mando trailer first.
We're so close. We have to be.
I'm interested to see just like who all will be in the Obi-Wan show.
Yeah.
I'm also interested to
see...
Young
Luke, young Leia, Obi-Wan. Hopefully Bail.
I'm also very interested just to see how much Uncle Owen hates Obi-Wan.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's gonna be in it, I think. The same actor from...
the same guy?
I think so.
Cool.
I don't know if that was confirmed or not, but...
I hope so. That's cool.
Those are her Clone Wars lightsabers.
Okay.
And then...
Weird that it was showing a picture of Fulcrum.
That's the Fulcrum saber.
It's a little bit curved, like not fully curved,
it's
but...
thinner. It's not as, like, circular.
And it's also just, like, a little bit curved.
Yeah.
Just a little.
But, yeah. I'm excited for that.
I'm trying to think of, like, who else do you think could be in the Obi-Wan show? Because as we've seen with Mandalorian Season 2...
Oh, they're bringing the big guns.
They're finally starting to be okay connecting things, which is what we've wanted all along.
Hera. Mon Mothma.
I'm trying to think. How old did you say Luke and Leia were in?
Babies. Oh, they were casting 7 to 10-year-olds, I think.
7 to 10. So that's 5 years before Rebels.
And that just assumed like they can play younger than they really are too.
But at bare minimum,
they're at least 5 years old, probably.
Yeah. So bare minimum 5 years, maybe 7 years before Rebels.
Yeah.
So I could see like
I said, Ahsoka could pop up.
Ahsoka could. I could see.
I don't know what. Do we remember what?
I don't know
what
purpose
she would have though.
Yeah.
She spent most of her time between 3 and Rebels hiding.
She's kind of also got her hands full being Fulcrum potentially. By that point.
Because in her book she goes to another planet just to hide out from the Inquisitors hunting Jedi all around.
Yeah. So I mean, if they found a good enough purpose, I would like it, but I don't want her just to show up. Yeah,
especially if she's gonna get her own show.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of the rumors why she's getting put in.
Mando. Yeah. I'm just trying. Yeah, I could maybe see like Hera.
I like Bail.
I like Bail, but
I
feel like Bail is almost a given though, considering that young Leia's going to be.
I like the idea of visiting Alderaan for the first time.
Yeah,
and seeing Bail and Brea Organa.
Yeah, I mean, you have to assume if young Leia's in it, then Bail will be in it.
Yeah, what else would? It'd be cool if Luke went there to visit.
It'd be kind of weird if you saw Leia but no Bail.
Yeah.
I guess the only way you could do that is if she was like kidnapped or something.
Tarkin could be around.
That'd be cool.
Because he would technically be. He could be on Alderaan just for a random reason.
I do like me some Tarkin.
Palpatine could be in it. I don't think it makes sense though.
He exists. Yeah, of course he exists. But Palpatine was very kind of hands off with like the day-to-day stuff. He didn't really leave Coruscant.
You gotta assume this is pretty early though in the transition of the Empire.
Well, if it's like 5 to 7.
Oh yeah, that's true.
5 to 7 years before Rebels would be. It's like about midway, a little bit later than midway.
Yeah, it was like around midway because like Ezra's like 14, right?
Ezra's 15 in the first season of Rebels because it's 4 years before A New Hope, and he's the same age as Luke and Leia.
Yeah.
So it is in the later half, actually.
Yeah.
Which is why it's full Empire, because the more beginning half, they still had a lot of Clone Wars tech.
Hopefully they introduce a new cool guy, too, like someone we don't know.
Oh, absolutely.
Like maybe that's like who's... Like someone who like...
I'm always down for more
maybe
new.
Inquisitor, just random Inquisitor who Vader sent after Luke and Leia while he was doing something else.
I could honestly see...
Krennic, maybe? No, he's too busy making the Death Star.
He's too busy with the Death Star.
Saw, Galen, Jin? Nah.
I think Inquisitors are very likely. And I also
I wish Trilla could be around, but she can't.
And
Cal?
Maybe.
Let's get wild. Cal Kestis. I don't know what he'd do, though.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like what they would be doing. Like, Inquisitors make a lot of sense. And also, Inquisitors would be funny because it would basically be... Obi-Wan would have to destroy their communication method or kill them on their first encounter.
Yeah. When does Fallen Order take place? Pretty soon after Order 66, right?
Hold on, I'm Googling.
It's sooner in the timeline than later, right?
It's
it's in
the first half.
Trilla
Trilla's
and
gone.
dead, so...
Yeah.
Trilla and whatever the other one's name was. 9?
No, well...
Or is Trilla 9? No,
Trilla's second.
2.
9th is the other one, but she might be alive, 9th sister.
I thought we killed her.
Yeah, but apparently that also happened in the comics.
What, 9th sister died?
Well, like, she lost a limb.
In the comics?
That's why she has a
robot. The prequel comic?
No, in one of the Vader comics, I think. She loses a leg and then, like, seems to die but comes back, so people think it might just be, like, kind of, like, almost like her bit, in a way.
That'd be funny.
Where she keeps coming back as more of a cyborg.
I just want more Trilla, honestly.
Yeah, but she's dead. What year does Fallen Order take place?
If we ever get a following, we need to replay that game and just together and just do it on video. Because I just want to replay it in general. Who has the time, man? Too many games to play.
I know when Order 66 takes place. I'm talking about Fallen Order. Occurs 5 years, so it's 5 years after the Empire, so Ezra, Luke, and Leia would be 5.
Okay, yeah.
So we could... That's pretty close. We could see Cal.
Kanan?
He'd be with Hera.
Yeah.
If we see Hera, I would think we would...
Honestly, just give me Zeb.
Give me a live-action Lasat. I want to see what that looks like.
No, but, yeah.
I would actually really fuck with either Cal or Kanan.
Freddie Prince's Kanan, that'd be sweet.
Though, but consider... No, because actually, Hera can't see Obi-Wan. Because that's a plot point in Rebels where Ezra's like, Obi-Wan's alive, and everyone's shocked.
Oh, yeah. Shit. No, because no one knows he's alive. That's the real problem.
Yeah, no one knows he's alive.
Fuck.
So, that means they're out. Phoenix Squad can't show up. Yeah. But Mantis Crew still could. Because they're pretty disconnected.
Yeah.
The Mantis Crew is kind of just on their own.
But I don't think they'll bring in too many people for Kenobi. It's just this one season, they're going to deal with his trauma,
No, absolutely. His depression. I was more just thinking for the sake of...
Yeah, no, I know.
A talking
This
point.
guy, Hondo.
Oh, I'd fuck with Hondo showing up.
Yeah, he actually makes a lot of sense.
I love his... I keep bringing up Rebels, but I love his line in Rebels in the first episode where he meets Ezra, and Ezra, like, reveals he's a Jedi. Hondo's like, one of my best friends was a Jedi. Well, at least I think we were friends. It's like, yeah, Obi-Wan was kind of just humoring him, but...
Yeah.
I like to believe Hondo legitimately thought they were friends.
Right.
They have a funny relationship in Clone Wars.
Who, Ezra and...
Obi-Wan and Hondo in Clone Wars.
I think Ezra
and Hondo have a great relationship, too.
A funny relationship, but yeah.
But I was really talking about him being in the Obi-Wan show. That'd be funny just to see.
Lit.
And it maybe be like, honestly, it'd also be kind of like a moment for Obi-Wan to at least have like a little bit of like happiness.
Right.
To remember at least a time when things were better.
You think seeing Luke doesn't make him happy?
Because I'm sure, that gives him hope.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it's a little scary.
That's true, too.
Whereas seeing someone that he's familiar with from back when things were good, I'm sure it could be a very, like, emotional moment of,
Bo-Katan.
I could maybe see Bo, but I'm not sure what purpose.
Just for it to make him happy.
Hondo serves that role. Because Hondo doesn't really need to be there for the plot.
Yeah, that's fair.
He's kind of just...
He usually chilling around, he runs into him in a cantina or something.
Yeah. Hondo's just kind of always just floating around.
Shit, man. You're right. But I think that wraps us up for episode 26 of the Holocron-Cast, man.
I think so.
We had good discussions about Anakin and the Obi-Wan show, and of course, Ray Kenobi. Tell us what you think, guys.
We had some good argument. If you were any of the users whose quotes I read from, thank you.
Yes.
For your opinions.
Right? I never think about it that way. I'm not as thoughtful as I like to think I am.
To be fair, I didn't think of it that way either.
Right? But thanks for
for opening our eyes.
Right, no. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you're enjoying this. Honestly, tell us what you think down below.
And also follow Star Wars Cantina on Reddit.
They're good.
Stop following the main Star Wars subreddits. They suck.
Yeah.
They ban people who like the sequels, and that's fucked up.
That is really fucked up.
That's atrocious.
That's a whole show for us one day.
Yeah,
But yeah, so guys, like, subscribe, comment, and until next time, give us yellow lightsaber Ray merch!